PTO. In 2019, I had exhausted all PTO, everything that I could from a perspective of, still being a IT professional. And it's like, okay, what do I do next? Oh my God, growth and comfort, growth and comfort. So I truly had to step out of my comfort zone and I went full time into my business. And it was a lot. And I wanted to scale it to the next stage. And at that time is when I had heard about the Next Stage Kansas City program that was offered by Interise and Alt Cap, and it was down at the Port of Kansas City's headquarters. And so it really was named appropriately because it was like, okay, I'm ready to take my business to the next stage. And this curriculum, the StreetWise MBA, is, something that sounded like what I needed to take my business definitely to the next stage. And so it ended up being a hybrid cohort. I had my first or second virtual graduation. And so for me, it was giving me the additional tools that I needed based on where I was, at that time, of growing my business and trying to take it to the next stage. And so when you think about being able to understand what and how valuable things like this book, Managing by the Numbers, and I got this book from the class. It was a part of the curriculum. And so I still keep it on my desk and reread and highlight. If you see different little highlighted sections in here, it's because in order to scale your business, you have to be able to manage it by the numbers, not numbers that are based off of old or stale data. But no, you have to understand, hey, are we hitting our daily benchmarks? What does it mean for this project to be profitable every single day? And are there impediments that are blocking the field crews from being profitable? And so as an owner, I have to be able to remove those impediments, and I have to understand what the benchmark is and how each day's profitability impacts the overall bottom line of the business. Because in order to scale, we have to be profitable. We have to have profit to reinvest in the business, to purchase the next piece of heavy equipment so that we can bid even more competitively. And so we can get our safety ratings lowered so that we can get cheaper insurances. When you think about banking premiums, you think about bonding premiums, and all these things that are this huge amount of overhead on a small minority-owned women-led business. These are the things that knock us out of the market when we're trying to compete. And so I'll say, number one, just really starting from, going from about 10 to 12 employees to now having on average about 35 employees. And starting out again in a single office, growing from a single office to a 4 office private suite, that was back in 2019. And then being able to move into a new construction build, 2,700 plus square foot office space where, we have a team that, continues to serve, our workflow. So you think about single office to 2,700 square foot with respect to just the professional services team. And then we have a lay down yard for all of the big heavy equipment. So you think about going from, a single skid loader in a dump truck and a trailer to now having a fleet of over, 30, company owned pieces of heavy equipment. And that's excavators, dozers, track loaders, a huge $1.2 million rock crusher. And that helps support our sustainable green infrastructure, initiative when you think about recycling and sustainability and overall quality of life. And then, having gone from projects that were, anywhere from 800,000 to now, consistently honing in at, a $15 million backlog. So there is definitely growth. And when you think about profitability, being able to grow from, averaging about, 10 to 15 in profitability, grows to moving into, much safer realms of a controlled, stabilized profit, and understanding what that sweet spot is. And so that's with aggregate installation and placement. And, we could say we started out with, small projects just within the city of Kansas City to being on, the KCI airport, which was the largest single infrastructure project at the time. And then, having two packages on that project. One was at 1.4 million, and then the next was 5.1 million. And then being on multiple data center projects, being on the Kansas City streetcar project, being a part of the Three Light Tower development, and then MCC Penn Valley's, ETC building extension. And so it's just really, really exciting to be a part of a lot of these projects and say, hey, this is what success looks like, and this is what sustainable legacy building looks like, so that it goes on, not just beyond the second or the third generation, but they're able to understand, a wealth generating mindset, a system that allows, cash to perpetuate, flowing in and not just accumulate, because you want cash flow and cash perpetuation and then accumulation. So making sure that we're educated enough to say, this is what it means to practically apply principles to build a legacy, a wealth generating legacy. So I would say when you think about contracting opportunities, for me at the time, I was in the residential space. I got my first contract with the City of Kansas City Parks and Recreation Department in 2018. And then it went from one win to the next to having GC'd 18 contracts with the City of Kansas City. And GC means being the prime. So that means you're responsible for everything, from beginning to end of the contract. And so once I was able to say, hey, I was able to successfully complete these 18 projects as a prime contractor with the City of Kansas City, now I can feel much more confident about taking on the next level of a job that was, over $9 million and completed successfully, and continuing to build, character amongst a pool of, companies that have been around for centuries. And so I'm like, hey, we're approaching a decade. We're here and we're delivering a good body of work. So, hey, we can deliver. So for any small business owner considering joining the Interise program, StreetWise MBA, go in and be okay knowing that, hey, number one, I want to know my numbers. Number two, I want to learn more about the legal aspect of, having a great legal partner and a great accounting partner, because again, you have to have those two very, very important things. So no, thank you so much for making the time to do what you do, because again, without, organizations like Interise, it helps literally prepare us for the next stage of our businesses. And again, not everything is going to sink in or be absorbed, within the first series of sessions. But again, it's like, hey, how many years later, I still like this book. I literally just bought it for my two accountants, and I signed the inside and told them happy learning, because again, we have to be able to manage by real, timely, and accurate data.